Yo guys, Voxel Pro here, coming at you with another type of discussion, rant type deal. And I'm just gonna go from the top of the head. I know what type of topic that I want to talk about. I wanted to talk about like my perception, it doesn't have to be anybody else's, of love, marriage, and relationships for like people in my age group, which covers anywhere from like 18 to like 24, I guess, is really like the core people that I'm talking about. So, yeah, like, first of all, I would have to say that, in order to start this off, I would have to say that, you know, the way that we socialize is different than any of the previous generations. You know, I think that social ability and that capacity for kindness and compassion and sincerity and lovingness has deteriorated over time. Especially when you consider, you know, how we socialize with each other. What do I mean by that? So, you know, to me, it looks like people it looks like the people who were born in the 60s, some in the 70s, 80s. These aren't clear-cut decades, you know. And I'm just generalizing, not to say that everybody that's born in these decades are like this, but it's a generalization. It's a positive one, but it's a generalization nonetheless. And you know that there are always going to be exceptions, because people are different. But anyway, so 60s, 70s, I would even say some 80s, and then 90s, they're kind of like, the 80s were like a last of a dying breed, and then 90s, you know, as a person who was born in the early 90s, like it's just exponentially worse. So why am I saying that? So I set it up like that because when you look at the compassion that we have for each other now, like people in our own age group, the way that we socialize with each other now, there's a huge difference between the cap from the people who were born in the 80s and the cap that we have on for that like the stuff that I was talking about, like compassion, sincerity, love, kindness, and all that stuff. And I'm not even talking about romantic love. I'm talking about like general, like love, like the way that you would love your sister or your mother, or it could be romantic love. You know, I'm all like the different kinds, different kinds that go to another person, I should say. Not like the way that we talk about how we love this food or love this pizza. No. I'm talking about the love that you would extend to another person, whether that be friendship or, you know, unconditional, like with your family and stuff like that, or even romantic and stuff like that. But there's a huge difference in between our caps. Like ours is just like way lower. Like yes, we have some exceptions, but it's just way lower. So it seems like And then it seems like we have different goals in mind when we want to talk about what we want out of life. You know, people who were born in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, well, 60s first, they wanted the good life. Well, we all want a good life, but you know, they had a more sensible way of doing it. Like, you know, go to school, you know, get married, have the kids, and stuff like that. And then, you know, and they wanted to be married, they wanted to have children. That was the life that they wanted for themselves, so they could pass, you know, their ideas on and stuff like that. 70s, they're kind of the same way, although I would say more or less now they're more or less like I just want to get married, and if a kid so happens to come out of it, so be it. But I don't think that they truly want kids, but they'll accept them if they. And then it seems like people who were born in the 80s, they're on the fence about getting married, and they're on the fence about having kids, you know. Well, they're almost doggone near adamant that they don't want kids. I would say more than half of them. And then people from the 90s, like, their goals is just like, I just want to party, have fun, and, you know, if I get this girl knocked up, I'm gonna kill her and the baby, like somebody gonna turn up missing. And that's a weird, it's a weird disconnect, right? Because we're 10 years apart from one another, yet our culture changed so differently. So what had changed between the 60s and the 70s, the 70s and the 80s, and then the 80s and the 90s, and then the 90s even from the new millennials, you know, people that are just only like 15 years old or 13 years old or 14 years old, the people who were born in the early 2000s. I would say it's the technology, the way that we interact with it, and the way that, you know, how our social I guess interactions change because of technology, because of social media. And I would have to reference Louis C.K. on this, where, you know, he was on Conan and he was talking about, you know, smartphone, and how, like, you know people on Twitter and stuff like that, how, like, how back then when somebody made somebody feel bad, you know, the person had to see their face scrunch up, and then you got a bad feeling, like you realize that you hurt somebody, and you realize that, you realize what you done was wrong, and what you did was dirty to the other person. So then, I think that kind of slowly deteriorated over the course of 30 years, into where, you know, we're seeing that in my age group, we don't, that social mechanism had deteriorated, and it made us unstable, right? Like, with our emotions. Like, we tend to either, like, whatever the term is that you want to use, we either overcorrect or overkill or overdrive it. Like, if we're angry with someone and we want to take revenge, there is no cap to our revenge level. Like we'll want to, like we'll want to cause that person, like, just vindictive with it. Like, we'll want to cause that person so much mental anguish and harm and abusiveness that they'll want to go kill themselves. Which, why would you want to do that to a person? You know, you should hear some of the stuff that people are saying on the news nowadays, like, you know, like, who are teenagers, teenagers or people my age, or, you know, maybe even a little bit older, like I said, in the age range from like 18 to 24, they do it, they doggone near get joy out of it, like causing somebody to kill themselves, causing somebody physical harm. Like, are we really not questioning this as like a generational thing? Is the people in my age group so blind that we aren't, like, willing to fix it? Like, how is this working right now? Like, and like I said, it's not everybody, but it's doggone near what our, like, that age group is known for. You know, we're the ones that's, like, known for, like, taking guns to school, killing our like girlfriends or boyfriends, and then killing the kid inside of us, then shooting the people up in the schools, and then turn around, smack the mama, then go drive off over the bridge because you don't think life is worth it anymore. Or then, you know, you got the people who they just say, because these people are like tormented me so much, I'm coming back with the bomb to kill them, the school that they were in, the church that they go to, them out there in the parking lot, the church, the people in the church, the choir director, the preacher, the pastor, the person on the drums, the person that's playing the guitar with the person on the drums, the piano person, they're bringing the whole building down, and then they're gonna hunt for their cousins, their family members, the uncles, their nephews. Like it doggone near don't stop. Like, you see what I mean? Like, no cap, like, whatsoever. The sincerity that we have, like, completely gone. You see what I mean? Like, perfect example, right? Real life example, like, first person, right? There was this dude who came into where I currently work at, right? And, he's a kid, he he was about, like, 14, 15. He wasn't a legal adult yet. He comes in and he tells me and one of the people that I work with that his mom was in a car accident. And then we're like, well, he's telling us the story, and he's like, man, he's like, I'm frustrated because she messed up my car. And I'm like, we're both looking at each other like, me and the person that I'm working with, looking at each other like, what? Like, your mom got in an accident and you're not worried about her? Like, I'm sorry, I gotta take a play out of the guy code, thing where Donnell Rawlings said something to the effect of, like, if you don't get along with your mother, then I don't get along with you. It's kind of almost the same feeling. Like, your mother, right? That's the person who this is not to bring down dads or anything like that, but that's the person that, because they do a lot of work. They do a lot of work too, That's the person who spent, like, all them hours in labor. That was the person that was making sure that everything was okay, that you had your lunch packed to, and depending on which personality type your mother has, that was the person that made sure that you could survive, like, that taught you, like, maybe taught you how to do laundry, or taught you, like, how to cook, so, like, when you do go off on your own, that you'll be able to survive. And then, you also have dads where they teach you, like, how to survive. Like, hopefully you know how to fight. You're gonna have to, do that. They teach you, if you're a man, they teach you how to shave, and, they teach you how to, like, make sure you're not getting lowballed and stuff like that, and see stuff in a sensible kind of direction. Like, making sure that there's a, first of all, that you know where you're coming from. Like, that you always remember that even though you could grow up to be somebody, just remember that you ain't gonna be so big as to, like, look down upon us because you got more money than we do. But, we're also not gonna, that they're not gonna like let you be so low as to say that they're ashamed of you. You know what I mean? So it's like, so when I heard that from him, we're like, well, that's your mother. Like, he's like, oh yeah, she's fine, but I'm just frustrated about I'm like, okay, first of all, you can get your car fixed. Yeah, sure, you don't know how much money it's gonna cost, but at the end of the day, that's the one mother that you got. Like your parents, your brothers, your sisters, your family, your friend, that's the only life that they got. Once that's gone, you're like, once you die, you're dead. You're dead. You die, you dead. You ain't even living no more. Like, so it's that type of sincerity. And then like, then I have to rant about like when people go on dates, right? Like when we get into the social media, like how do people even interact? And this is more or less from this is not like dating advice or relationship advice or marriage advice or anything by any means, because I have no like experience in that at all. And I'm not, whatever. I don't even really, you know, I'm not saying that I don't want a relationship. I'm just saying that I'm trying to be sensible about one. But in saying that, I'm like, when people go out on dates, right? Like right now, like in that age range that I'm talking about, you know, they're always gonna have their smartphones and whatever. So I'm trying to wonder, like, do those people like really talk to each other for most of the date? Like, let's say your girl, I'm interested in you, right? If there's a girl watching this, let's say I'm interested in you, because if I'm talking to a man and the man is watching this, I got nothing for you. That ain't happening. But let's say that you know, I wanted to go out with you, and you know, and we decide to go out to a nice restaurant, and you know, we're gonna have a good time and everything like that. I'm sitting across from you. Should I be worried, like, how's this interaction go? Should I be checking my phone, like seeing what the updates on Twitter, Facebook, and Google Plus or whatever my thing is, or seeing what the updates on whatever I'm interested in is? Or what are you gonna be doing? Are you gonna be telling your friends simultaneously while you're on the date how it's going, when you're not really even participating at that precise moment? You're just radioing back to like your friends and saying how it's going. And even though you're with them, so let's say we fast forward and then you're now with them, you're now officially together. Like, how does that work? When y'all spend time, do y'all even still talk? Like, and I'm not saying that some of that is not avoidable. I'm not saying don't do it at all, and I'm not saying always talk, like, you know what I mean? Maybe I'm not explaining that good, but you know, try to put some more sincerity in it, some more feeling in it. Like, you know, like actually act like you're interested and not playing on your phone like every like 3 seconds. Like, oh, that's good. And then she's like typing like, oh, this date is going so well. Dudes don't do the same thing. Like, oh, come on. Here's what I concluded in the gender thing, right? We're just as bad as each other. We just have different ways of badness. And it's not that one's worse or one's better. It's just that we have two different ways of badness. And we have two different strengths, two different weaknesses. Or, I mean, we have different strengths and different weaknesses. From males, what we're weak in, women are strong at. And women, what they're weak in, we're strong at. And that's kind of what makes us go together so well, like, as like a man and a woman. Like, that's what makes us go together. So that's kind of what I had on that. I'm like, real life example too. This is also first person. So I'm out with a group of friends, right? Like a week or so ago, and you know, we're out and we're at this like bar and grill, like it's like a BW3s or Buffalo excuse me, Buffalo Wild Wings, whatever. And they have their phones out, and I don't have a smartphone, you know. I have a regular old-timey phone, whatever. I'm not ashamed, whatever. And they're all looking at whatever. We got TVs around us. There's music playing in the background, and there's arm wrestling. There's MMA, and there's 2 different baseball games. I'm like, and y'all sitting on your phone. Like, how? Like, why did y'all decide to go out if y'all was gonna be on your phones for over like 80% of the time? Now, like, that's not a them thing. That's like a generational thing. Like, I can't blame them like for that. I can't blame them specifically for that. In my opinion, it's a generational issue. It's almost like we always got to be distracted every second. There is going to be a part 2 to this. I just got to make sure that I get to it, get to record it. And I'm saying that because my memory on the camera is running out. So as soon as I upload this to my computer to get it all edited and whatever, then I'll be able to release a part 2 of it. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next part.